Hey everybody, this is Jay from Profit Pros with episode 7, I believe, of the Road to Profitability, where we talk to traders about their trading journey, whether they're profitable or not. Today we have Legacy, who is one of our profitable traders. I actually looked back at our messages, and he is one of the first people I talked to last summer when I first started the server. So pretty big OG. Now you might not see him very active because, as you can see, he doesn't want to show his face because he is an A-list celebrity. No, I'm just kidding. But he's behind the scenes. He's taking the classes, putting the work, and I can see that it's paying off. So welcome on, man. If you do, you want to just take a second to kind of tell everybody maybe how you got into trading, how you met me.
Sure. So I've been doing this for a while on and off, probably the last 6 years or so, and started with options and eventually didn't have very much success with that. Transitioned to being an Amazon seller when I was in school.
Okay.
And once I graduated, got my full-time job, I sort of was looking for more ways to make money and stumbled upon futures. And through that, I eventually found Profit Pros and yourself
Mhm.
and Vinny. And it's been a really good experience just to, go through those ideations. It definitely is a long journey to get to a point of profitability, but I think once you get there and are connected with people that have gone through the same things that you have, you're more likely to become successful at this. And
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah, I agree, and it's crazy because especially nowadays with social media, everybody gets into trading. Like you said, 6 years, and I think when do you remember when you started like becoming consistently profitable? Was it like end of last year, if I remember, or was it a
yeah, it
little
was
before that?
around the beginning of this year, but
Okay.
I've taken a few payouts, but I haven't become very consistent until now.
Hmm.
Uh, I think the less I tried, the more successful I became,
Yeah,
actually.
man, that's so funny, and I just want to go back to it because you said 6 years, and like that's
Mhm.
very believable and honest. Because you go on social media and everybody's like, "Oh, I've been trading for 3 months and I've gotten two payouts already." Like you're either lucky somebody's trading for you or you're full of it. So I have a question. When you first started with options, like most people get into options, you have your 401k and stuff, but you get into options, were you just like trading by yourself or like did you have friends that traded? Because finding options in the first place is kind of an eye opener, and then trading by yourself is wild if you did that.
Yeah, so I think I was around 18 or so,
Oh wow,
and
okay.
um, I I always been like saving my money, so I put a large part of my money, which I think was around 25 or 30K,
At
into
18?
options at 18,
Oh wow,
and
nice.
um, I full ported Neo option. I
Oh
don't know
my
if you remember
God.
that, but it I made 15K my first trade,
Oh my
and then
God.
I eventually ended up losing it all.
Oh,
So
that's how it
yeah,
goes, right? I think we all did that at
yep,
first.
yep.
Neo's the
But
car company, right?
yeah,
Yeah, I
from
remember. I remember when that was hot. That lines up with about the timeline when I started trading, and everybody was doing that because Tesla was too expensive.
yeah, yeah. I think everyone was saying, "Oh, this is going to be the next Tesla or whatever,"
Hmm.
and like the Neo day was like coming around, and like
Yep.
everyone was so hyped about it, and then like it went up 15K in one day, and I'm like, I'm just gonna hold this because it's gonna go up more. There's no way it won't,
Oh
right?
wow.
And then uh, like from there, it's history where I
Oh
lost.
man. Did you take a break after that? I'm assuming.
I did take a break,
Yeah.
and then I started selling on Amazon.
Hmm.
First year of Amazon, I made about 3,000, and I stopped 4 years later, around 500,000 in revenue.
Oh wow. That's pretty good. Well, you might get
Yeah,
people messaging you about that. I don't know if you should have said that. That space is probably so oversaturated now, though. I can
it
imagine.
is, but I found a hole in the marketplace where I
Hmm.
basically was able to scale my business
Oh, nice.
significantly. But the thing is the consumer end market is probably one of the worst businesses you
Oh,
can
yeah.
pursue. Just having direct overview of over 40 different private equity strategies. Like
Hmm.
everyone's focused on residential. I'm sorry, everyone's straying away from residential consumer end markets and more towards business to business. So I think
Hmm.
if you start a business or in the future want to start a business, try to establish those business to business connections.
Hmm.
Just it's it's going to experience less fluctuation. Especially with user acquisition costs being so expensive now, especially
Hmm.
for market. And consumers just get so tired so easy and want to try something new.
Yeah, it's I used to actually I owned a business that was direct to consumer, and I swore I'd never do anything. Well, I lie because I'm literally running a Discord right now with consumers, but I'd never do a business straight direct to consumer like selling a product because it's just a pain in the butt. So I think business is the way to go. But so back to trading. How'd you find futures, a few years later?
I think I was scrolling on TikTok and probably came across something like a video of someone making a lot of money.
Someone with
Um,
a Lamborghini and selling a course or
yeah,
something.
it's kind of crazy that like the most successful groups on Discord are ones that flash like all the money, but those are always
Yeah.
the people.
Yeah, I mean, that's how you get consumers. And like, I
Yeah.
see 18-year-olds all the time in Miami at the same Airbnb on the same hotel with the same rental. And then like, they're saying they bought this. And I'm like, dude, you can't even trade. Yeah. So
It's
you probably found one of those. And then that got you into like the Discord whole community.
Yeah, it's definitely selling the dream.
Hmm.
Like and it's just not realistic. Like in order to make that type of money, you first need to make a few $1,000s per month consistently and then
Hmm.
scale from there. You're not gonna go from, you know, like making your normal salary, whatever you do at your job, to just magically making 50K per month,
Yeah,
even if
well,
you
and also like these kids, they're on prop firms. You can tell they're trading prop firms. You're not buying Lambos off of prop firms like on your 50K account, Like you need a big boy six-figure account to trade multiple minis to even bother with that. So it's crazy, and that's things, but at least it does get people into trading, seeing stuff like that. So, and so when you got into futures, you found it on TikTok. Did you um bounce around from like Discord to Discord, just straight up following people, or did you actually kind of know how to trade at that point?
I think I've always applied a critical lens to what
Hmm.
positions that I take. Just because I feel like if you just blindly invest money, you're not setting yourself up for the future,
Agreed.
especially if you're just following trades. Because I think it's so important to understand what that individual trader is trying to do or trying to understand their strategy, because you're not going to be able to trim effectively if you
Mm-mm,
don't
no
know what they're
chance.
doing.
Yeah.
Even if it's the best play in the world, um, it may experience 20 points of drawdown and then, go 100 points. But if you don't
Mhm.
understand that from the beginning of the trade, you may hit size heavy and then get liquidated or whatever.
Yeah. That's 100. That's 100% true, and that's what most people do when they start trading. They follow somebody, and even when I alert, it's like NQ moves 20 points in a second. Unless you know what you're looking for, you're screwed from the get-go. And then somebody mentioned this in another podcast. Like, what if the guy you follow dies? Then what are you gonna? You just
Yeah.
can't trade anymore. So you said you always like put your critical thinking hat on, try to learn for yourself. Like what style of trading did you start with trading? Did you use like indicators or how'd you begin?
Yeah, so I was pretty heavy on the indicators, and through time I determined that less is more. So
Mhm.
just focusing on particular things, like Asia Open, top and bottom of candles on the
Mhm.
daily, and top of wick and bottom of wick on the daily. Like
Right.
those are levels that I always mark, and like I've started developing like my own indicators, and I think that that's actually helped me become more profitable.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Do you actually know how to code or?
You can do anything with AI these
Yeah,
days.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Literally, I get on a call with AI, and I'll be typing to it too,
Mhm.
and it will tell you exactly what to do, and so it's not 100% there yet, but yeah, I mean, I actually started my education in computer science, but eventually transitioned over to business.
Okay.
I do have a little bit of experience, but not that much. But I could probably make a like full application with my knowledge and leveraging AI.
Yeah,
I
I
think
mean AI is wild. You literally tell even like OpenAI, the free version, you tell it what you want, it'll spit something out that almost works perfectly the first time.
definitely, definitely.
So so you said you know you weren't really following people and stuff like that. I remember I met you about a year ago. Were you consistently blowing accounts at that point, or were you kind of
Oh,
like on the verge of getting payouts and things like that?
I mean, I've gotten a few payouts at that point, but
Mhm.
I like the thing is I love to have so many accounts at one time. So when I blow accounts, I blow them all. So that was
Oh, okay, okay.
problem that like I faced.
Hmm.
But I mean, the payout was massive. But I've gotten to the point now where I'm still with multiple prop firms, but I'm
Hmm.
not necessarily group training them all, or I'll go group prop firm by prop firm,
Hmm.
all in a group. Um, at least that's what's worked best for me, and knowing when to step away. Because the market's always going to be there for another day.
Right. Now you mentioned you had you know, you used to blow all your accounts on the same day. Were you copy trading or were you just go full tilt and just like blow one, immediately open the next one, go heavy, blow that again, and just over and over and over?
So it was all group traded.
Oh,
So,
wow.
for
Okay.
example, I used to have like a lot of Apex accounts, and I would copy trade them all. And
Mm-hmm.
then like when things go good, it goes good.
Oh,
But
100%. Yeah.
when things don't go good, that's what really ha tripped me up in the past.
Hmm.
Not being able to walk away, and then it enters like revenge training, and then you eventually blow
Right.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. I usually ask this later, but since we're already talking about it, how have you overcome the revenge trading or something like that? Do you have like a certain tell that you can feel when it's going to happen, or do you just like have a certain rule where you lose X amount of trades, or what works for you to like be able to not blow the accounts anymore?
I really think it's just going through the trials and tribulations of trading so many different accounts. Like you definitely need that experience.
Hmm.
Because if you can't trade a $1,000 account, you can't trade multiple accounts.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Hmm.
so I think knowing yourself and thinking about it too, like if, for example, if you have an account with $3,000 of drawdown, um, if you lose $200 in one trade, it's not the biggest deal because the
Right.
next you're going to make it up. So understanding that and not, having to make a crazy amount per day, just
Hmm.
small over time, it will consistently stack up and you'll get where you want to go.
Yeah, I agree, and I love prop firms for beginners and stuff. And I've actually you're like working on a cash account now, I think, right?
Mhm. Yep,
Yeah, but I love prop firms, but it creates bad habits because if you blow an account, you can just buy another one or go to the
definitely.
next one. Whereas like a cash account, you blow it, you're not just going to go into your bank account and put another 10 grand in. I mean, you shouldn't at least. But with the prop accounts, you can go spend 50 bucks, 100 bucks and just have another account. So I think
Um,
it kind of makes it so blowing an account doesn't seem like that big a deal, which is great in the beginning. But if you're, you know, I'm about as long in trading as you. If you're still blowing accounts and revenge trading like that, it's a problem. Um, so like, do you have a hard and fast rule that you actually walk away, or do you think that you just know yourself well enough now where you're like, all right, calm down, it's not that big a deal, we can get it back, or maybe I'm done for the day, kind of thing.
I think I think the thing is you never want to set yourself up for a path of consistently losing because
Hmm.
if for example, if I lose $200 on my account, and I'm group trading, so that's five accounts, so that's $1,000
Yeah.
lost. The next trade, I'm gonna go a little lighter,
Right.
and it's not gonna be within an hour of that. I'd probably take some time. Um,
That's great
yeah.
advice, by the way.
And if I lose again, then of course I'm done for the day.
Hmm.
Uh, but the next trade, if you continue to send yourself down a path like that, it's not good. I think you never want to see your account dwindle more than $400 from peak
Yeah,
drawdown.
that's do you have like a daily loss limit you put, or is it more like a mental one?
It's more of a mental one now. I used
Okay.
to have a $300 one, and it would just
Hmm.
auto liquidate. Vinny instructed me not to do that, so I removed that.
Yeah, because
And
because you don't want to get wicked out by like $5 and then
yeah,
it goes your way.
yeah, definitely, and that's happened before, so it sucks in that circumstance.
Hmm.
But I think just being happy with $50 or $100 for a trade is huge. You don't need to.
Absolutely. And especially like
Yeah.
you have a good job. I mean, this is all just extra money or building yourself for the future. Like you don't have to take this money out to pay your bills. you can look back on the account in 2 years and then go crazy if you want. And
Definitely.
I like the how you threw out not a huge number because a lot of people because they're on prop firms they say like, oh, 1,500 daily loss limit 1,000. Like, man, if you're losing $1,000 consistently every day, like you bump that down. Like some of the best traders are the most consistently profitable traders and prop pros have like a $200 daily loss because if they hit it, they're like, I'm done. Like it's not my day, but they're not blowing accounts as like they're staying alive. And that's what you said, like the $50, $100, and if you're losing, just walk away. I love that.
Yeah, and I don't think I've blown an account for probably over 6 months, probably
That's
here.
amazing. Have you gotten
So
moved to live accounts on any of the prop firms?
no, but I'm just continuing to stack them up, and I take out payouts. Like for
Okay, yeah.
example,
I never
take
recommend
out.
going live. You might as well just have your own account at that point.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, true. I mean, it sucks to have to you know go through all the loopholes of all these
Mhm.
different prop firms just to get payouts.
Yeah.
But if you have so many accounts, it really doesn't matter.
Yeah, once you start getting that first payout, it kind of just snowballs, and then the rules don't really matter. It's just
Yeah,
that first initial, couple payouts that really screws everybody. Because I think what do they say? 5% of prop firm traders actually get a payout, and then like maybe 1% get two. So like
yeah.
the fact you're holding accounts for 6 months is pretty legendary. Now, you mentioned that you would tilt and you'd blow like all your accounts at once. Was the main reason for blowing accounts and not getting payouts like the psychological issue of revenge trading, or was it anything technical? Like, was it more all psychology, or was it all technical, or was it a mix of both?
I think it was just the fear of losing that
Hmm.
money, and I wanted to grow day over day, which
Hmm.
it's not possible to do that. You're gonna have a bad trade once in a while.
Oh, 100%. I mean, when people say they have a 100% win rate, I'm like, what do you take 2 points on every play, and that's what you get? Because I mean, I'm a decent trader. My win rate's like 75%, and that's good. And like people with 50% win rates can win too. Um, so you're still running the prop firms. You're just stacking, getting consistent payouts. Now, what was everybody kind of has like an aha moment when it comes to trading that kind of pushes you over the edge where, maybe you're getting one payout every few months and now you're getting a couple payouts every month or every week or it's like a paycheck. Do you remember like something specifically that clicked in your brain that made you stop doing the things that you were doing to hinder your profitability?
I think I came to the conclusion you can't cheat to win.
Hmm.
You consistently have to find good trades. You can't just enter the market blind. And sometimes I was doing that because, it was easy. But I think really finding an ideal trade, and having a reason and multiple reasons to take that
Hmm.
trade. If it goes, then that's great. But if you lose that trade, it was a solid trade. You didn't do
Right.
anything wrong. It just
Yeah.
wasn't, it wasn't a good trade. Like in
Mhm.
that moment, it's hard to find a strategy that works 100% of the time.
It's impossible. I
Yeah.
mean, if it did, there'd be people trying to sell it to you, obviously.
Yeah, probably.
What kind of sizing do you use when you trade? Do you have like its consistent sizing, or is it based off of? Actually, let's go back real quick. I like what you said because you said you can't be scared to lose, and you basically summed up a way of just saying wait for your setup, right?
Mhm.
So basically, now this is usually what I say later, but do you create like a thesis every day where you like I'm looking for these two key areas and that's it, and if they don't hit, I don't take a trade?
Um, I think for me, just knowing key levels,
Hmm.
knowing when to trade and not to trade.
Right.
Like for example, if there's news, like I'm fine not trading because losing money and taking a bad trade is worse than not taking a
Hmm.
trade at all,
Oh,
right?
100%. And I think that's one of the biggest skills that led me to be consistently profitable is like not trading sometimes. Like you see all the time when the market's chopping, I'm like, guys, just go outside, go do something. And I think that's something that newer traders, I mean, you see it all the time. If you pop in the chat room, like people have to be in a play all the time, or as soon as they get out of a play, they try to get back into it. And like, based on what you're saying, like if you lose a trade, you take an hour break, or if your setups don't hit, you just don't trade. And I think that's one of the biggest difference of people who are consistently profitable is like know when to hold them, know when to fold them kind of thing.
Yeah, I agree. It's a marathon, not a
Mhm.
race.
Yeah,
It's
I always like to say like this is like college and this is like work. Like you don't just hop into the your position and become the president of the company. Like you start in customer service, you learn that, and then you go to analyst, then you go to management, and then you finally make your way up. And I feel like trading's like that. Like you start at the bottom and then you can never make it to the top, but you can always get better. And then
definitely,
like the snowball effect and all that kind of thing.
definitely. I think, especially if you're going through a lot in your life, like
Hmm.
you have debt or, high rent, um, just a lot of emotional things in your life,
Hmm.
like you probably need to reevaluate and know that you're in a more emotional state and maybe trading isn't for you right now. Maybe you need to
Hmm.
get a solid job and just do it on the side, like, very light. Like start with $1,000 cash
Hmm.
account or a $500 cash account. You really don't need much for a cash account.
Hmm. Yeah, I
Always
think
slow.
Trade Evade you need like what,
Yeah,
$150 if you really wanted to get started.
probably, but you're probably gonna blow it.
Yeah,
I'd
yeah,
say
of
probably
course.
like 500 or
Hmm.
300. Um, but I think just having that mentality of like knowing your life circumstances right now, like
Hmm.
thinking like, oh, okay, if I make all this money right now, like I have debt, I have, a dead end job, I have like all these circumstances in my life that are pushing me down, like to win that money, like it would change my life. Like
Hmm.
I think just it will send you in a deeper hole spiraling down. I think
Yeah.
that's important to know.
And that's like I mean people look at this as a lottery ticket, right? And this
Yeah.
this isn't it. And like this is that doesn't seem like it, but this is one of the hardest careers out there to consistently beat the market because the market's designed to beat us, and we're going up against people that have $1 million algorithms and
Yeah.
PhDs and quantitative analysis, and just they can move the market with their own money. They have enough capital, and like this is such is it's this profession. You have to be disciplined, and if you come into this when you're not disciplined in your real life, like if your apartment's a shithole and it's a mess and you got stuff everywhere, you don't clean up after yourself, what makes you think you're gonna be able to sit at this desk and have a clean chart and a clear mind and perform the way you need to perform? I just don't think it's possible unless you clear your head and clear your mind and get your shit together, basically.
Definitely. I agree. You need to be in a good situation in your life,
Hmm.
have a stable mindset, be disciplined. Don't expose yourself to instant gratification.
Hmm.
I think that's so important.
Yeah, and then that stings because the dopamine hits in this game are real, man. When you click a button and you see $1,000, like it's hard not to get super excited. And now you also mentioned like maybe you should get a job and do this on the side, and trading's not for everybody. I don't think trading is for everybody. Like I straight up will tell people I don't think you're cut out for it right now, at least at this time in your life. And I also never recommend quitting your job unless you have like 2 years of consistent profitability to double your bills. Because you don't need to do this doesn't take that much time, you know? You can be in a trade for 5 minutes a day and make a couple $100. So why not have a job, maybe get a job that you like for less money, but why not have a job that at least covers your bills and then everything else is gravy? Like you're getting consistent payouts and stuff now. Have you ever even thought about quitting your job?
Um, I actually just joined a startup and I'm really
Oh,
excited
okay.
about it. So,
Okay,
um,
so you're in it for the long haul then.
yeah, yeah. I mean, like my previous job before that, it was kind of a dead-end job. I was waiting for my next opportunity. So,
Hmm.
like I could do all my work for that job in like 2 to 3 days, and then I was remote, so I basically would just look at the charts for the
Just
rest
chill
of the
all
time
day.
and try to like make extra money that way.
Right.
Um, but I think that the less that I've been on the charts, it's been for the better. I have
100
like
100%.
my
100%.
indi my indicators are set up where it will basically email me like when a certain candle type closes.
Oh,
I'll get a
okay.
notification on my phone and then I'll go look at the chart.
Oh,
But
that's awesome. So you literally don't look at the charts unless a setup is kind of appearing, right?
yeah,
That's what, and I agree with that because I always tell people like you kind of have your setup, like set alerts or make a custom indicator or do something. There's no point in just sitting here for 8 hours and staring at it. It'll just lead you to make bad decisions, you know.
yeah. I mean,
Go ahead.
sorry. Especially if it's chopping in a small range,
Hmm.
like sitting there, you're frustrated. You're gonna go heavier. Then like some crazy candle is gonna come out of nowhere, 30
Hmm.
points down, and then boom, you blew it.
Yeah, it's
Like,
funny. It's funny you say when we're chopping because today is Friday, May 23rd, guys. And from 9:30 to 1, we chopped in a 30-point range. So like I totally agree with that. And the people that are trying to trade this, we're getting smacked around. Now let's get into like actual trading. I'm sure you have a bunch of different size accounts. Do you trade minis, micros? What do you trade?
so I have all 50K accounts,
Okay.
and it's going to be between two to three at a time.
Micros?
Hmm.
Okay, so that's great because I mean, you know this 50K accounts are basically $2,000 accounts. So,
Yeah.
that's perfect sizing and you get paid with 2 3 micros. It's amazing. Do you change your sizing ever if like the setup's better or anything like that or is it just always 2 3 micros?
A lotto, if I'm not certain, is going to be one.
Yeah, okay. So you
Maybe,
only size down.
yeah, if it's more risky in my eyes, I size
Mhm.
down. And
Okay.
potentially, if the setup looks a little better after there's some drawdown, I may average in one more.
Okay,
Um,
but not like doubling a position or anything like
no,
that.
no.
Okay. Yeah, I can get behind that. I mean, I don't like when people double leverage. It's just if it goes the other way, you're just double screwed. But yeah, having one more in, then you're only at 4 micros. I mean, you can handle that, especially if you have drawdown. Um, now I'm curious about this one because we talked before we got on here, and you have been in our Discord for a long time. You've taken courses from people I know. I think you were in my course as well. Do you even look at what the analysts are saying in like Discord servers or anything like that, or do you do everything independently nowadays?
I definitely take in consideration what you say and also
Mhm.
Arc and Vinny.
Okay.
Um, but other than that, I've muted pretty much everyone.
Like you don't like signal bot plays, but you'll kind of see what we're looking at and see if it
Mhm.
kind of agrees with you and things
Mhm.
like that.
Definitely, I'll use your analysis to validate my trades,
Okay.
um, and because I understand all three of your strategies,
Yeah.
um,
Yep.
like I understand how you trade,
Hmm.
and I also understand how I trade. So I think that's so important to just not blindly follow people. You really need to understand their strategy because
100%.
sometimes it will work out, but perhaps more drawdown needs to happen for it to be a 100 point play, like I said earlier.
Yeah, yeah. Because I'm not going to name names, but some people are expecting to get 30 points of drawdown every play. It's just part of their strategy, but they're going for 100 points, so it doesn't matter, right?
I mean, yeah, I think getting the most ideal entry possible is very important though.
I agree. I'm just saying some people,
Mhm.
they know that it's going to go drawdown. They don't care about the entry, but as long as you realize that with the people you're following, you can wait till their drawdown hits or something till you get in.
Yeah.
Now we were talking about discipline earlier. Um, Now I get this asked this all the time if I have like a morning routine, like I do the same thing every day. I don't really, but I try to wake up at like the same time, like eat a healthy breakfast and, get to my station around the same time. Do you have like a strict, rigid program you follow every day or to kind of keep you in check or how does that work for you, like routine wise?
Yeah, that's an interesting question
Hmm.
because I'm mostly remote. So I think a lot of structure in my life has followed around my job, just being able to,
Hmm.
I have to clock in at a certain time and
Hmm.
um I guess like I'd structure my day around my work, and then
Hmm.
after that, of course, like basic morning routine. My time I go on charts, it varies. Like
Hmm.
sometimes it will be I'm PST, sometimes it will be 9 or 10, and then other times it will
Hmm.
be 12. And then after hours, I really like trading Asia just because it moves a
Hmm.
little bit slower.
I think
Um,
that I think that's how we met, right? Because your schedule you couldn't really trade during the day, and same with mine.
Mhm.
I think that's how we
Yeah,
met.
yeah,
Um, so that leads me into like the next one. So you base your trading around your life, not your life around trading, if that makes
exactly.
sense.
And
And I
that's so
think
important.
and I think that's the way it should be.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay.
I think the more I started doing that, the more successful that I was. I've
Agreed.
literally barely been on the charts this month just because I was interviewing. Um, the trials and tribulations of interviews these days are insane.
Oh, it's
Um,
nuts.
like the process that for some of these are months, like six
Hmm.
or 7 months, and it's crazy.
And
But
then they ghost you, and then they ghost you at the end.
yeah,
Hmm.
I've seen it all. I've done a lot of interviews, so like through that experience, I'm probably a professional just talking to like a lot of people like interview wise.
That's funny.
Um,
But
not
I
of my
agree.
choice.
I agree 100% because when I was not consistently profitable, it's because I was like on the charts all the time, making trading a priority, like brushing off other things I really needed to do because I thought that this was more important. And turns out it's not because, like you said, it's not going to go anywhere. It's always here. You can set alerts that tell you exactly when you should be on the computer. Like if I see we're range bound, I set an alert at the top of the bottom, and then I don't look at the
Yeah.
chart until it tells me that we broke out, and then we trade. And like every single person I've talked to basically says the less they look at the charts, the better they do. And like you're saying that without even me prompting it, which is
Yeah.
awesome. So do you still copy trade or no?
Yes. Yes.
All
So
of them at once or certain groups?
certain groups.
Hmm.
So I have various different prop firms, Tradeify, Take Profit, um, no longer any Apex. Um,
Yeah, I'm glad
it-
nobody should be using Apex.
oh, they're the worst. They're the
Hmm.
worst. But I guess my point earlier is I barely been trading this month, but I've already made 8K in payouts.
Oh,
So
see,
I
I
don't.
mean, it doesn't take that. It doesn't take time. It just takes um,
It doesn't.
patience,
It doesn't.
honestly.
And last month I made 20K just
Oh,
from
dude.
payouts,
Yeah,
and then
you can't beat
outside of cash.
that.
Yeah.
Um, Now this is you don't have to answer this if you want, but
Mhm.
have you made an LLC yet for your trading?
Not yet. No. I
I
used to have
would
one on my
I would
Amazon.
highly recommend doing that now that you're making real money
Yeah.
because you
I,
can
I
because you're 1099 from prop firms because you're not getting the future 60/40 benefit that you do on a cash account. So like you gotta figure out a way to write off everything through LLC and pay yourself so you're not getting taxed 40% or whatever it is.
definitely, definitely. I had quite a few deductibles last year just from like the all the valuations I paid, which
Yeah, that's true.
is
Yeah, yeah.
pretty nice.
Hmm.
Um, so definitely if you do evaluations, definitely write those off.
Yep.
I'm definitely going to look into an LLC though, but
Hmm.
I know there's hardly any benefits unless you're making at least 50K.
Yeah, I mean, but if you have one more month like you did last month, I mean,
Mhm.
it makes sense. Now here's the question. Now, since you said less is more with charting and your indicator tells you like when your certain setup arrives, do you have a specific type of day that you like trading, like trend days, range days, volatile days, etc.?
I do like a little bit of consolidation,
Hmm.
uh, but I don't like it. I don't like it when it's trading in the same zone of consolidation for hours and hours on end.
Like it has
Um,
been right now, right now.
right, right. I do like trend days, especially
Hmm.
getting in a play and just holding it, uh,
Hmm.
holding a like one runner. Uh, but I think I can pretty much trade any conditions
Hmm.
if I really had to.
Right. Or you just don't trade it if it's not,
Yeah,
valid. I like trend days because if you just get it in a good entry, you can just trail your stops and not worry about anything the rest of the day. And then you come back to two micros being at $500. Can't beat
definitely.
it. Can't beat it at all. Now the golden question I always like to ask everybody towards the end. Now, since you've been through the ringers, 6 years, you've went through the indicators, you went through a bunch of discords, you've taken courses. If you had to like give yourself some advice or of something that you would have wanted to do or learn earlier, or something that you just could have avoided, kind of what advice would you give your 18-year-old self?
If you can't trade a 1K account, you can't trade a 30K account.
Hmm. I
That
like
is
that.
that is the top advice I'd give. Um, with prop firms especially, you don't need a lot of accounts to make money.
Hmm.
Uh, start with a few, and then you can always scale up with the money you make. Don't continuously pull money out of your pocket to buy more accounts until you're in a point of getting consistent payouts.
That is actually great advice, and I can't believe I haven't touched on that with anybody because I know people that have bought like 250 evals, 100 PAs before they start getting paid out, and it's like something's not working if you're not getting payouts. Even luckily getting a payout after that much. So I really like that is pay yourself and use profits to buy more accounts. I like that for scaling, and that's
Definitely.
great advice. Great advice.
Yeah, and it's not a casino. Like,
Hmm.
don't treat it like a casino.
Although it is pretty gamified. I mean, it's basically even some of the firms look like video games, and
Yeah.
it's not like somebody puts 500 bucks in front of you and asks if you want to take it. It's like just a number on a screen, like buy, sell, buy, sell. So yeah, don't gamble. I like that. Do you have any just could be anything, any piece of advice for somebody that's right on the verge, maybe of like getting a payout and blowing accounts, or like just to push them over the edge, just because you've been through it before?
I think, I mean, there's definitely been times where I was so close to payouts, like literally
Hmm.
$26 away, and I'll blow it.
Oh yeah.
Like, like I've done that like two times.
Hmm.
Uh, and it definitely is frustrating, but I think just knowing it is entirely possible. You just need to go slow. Like you
Hmm.
will get there. Like you've gone through years and years of experience. I've gone through years and years of experience. Um, it just takes time. Like
Hmm.
give yourself time. Don't put pressure on yourself because it's just going to end up significantly worse.
I like that. And some of the bad things about prop firms like Top Step, you can get paid in 5 days. Everybody wants that payout in 5 days. Where it's like, dude, you weren't making any money before. Like, take it slow, wait a month, to take a payout. You don't need to rush. And I think that's why a lot of people blow that last, $100 is because they want that payout the next day. Like, I've done it, you've done it, and
Yeah.
everybody's done it. But yeah, I like that. Slow down, do it right. I like saying treat it like a job. You wouldn't try to get all of your years worth done of work in 30 minutes, doing a 50% effort or 50% of what you should do. You do it right, you know?
No, I mean it is really fun to, you know, take a big position and then you're up 10K, but
Yeah.
oh, realistically, you're not trading for the long term. You will never
Mhm.
be successful doing that over and over and over again. You will blow all your accounts.
Absolutely agreed. Well, we're about out of time. Legacy, thank you so much for coming on. And it's actually really nice to talk to you because you're kind of in the background a lot.
Yeah.
If anybody wants to message him, like I know he's always there to help. And it's awesome to hear that you're doing so well. So great talking to you, man.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Have a great day.
You too.